Nigeria's President Muhammadu Buhari on Tuesday has appointed Abdulrasheed Bawa as the substantive chairman of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission (EFCC). The 40-year-old Bawa, who hails from Kebbi State, if confirmed by the Senate, will be the youngest so far to have headed the anti-graft agency since its inception in 2003. Founding chairman Muhammadu was 43 years of age when he took leadership of the commission. Bawa, who holds a BSc degree in economics and masters in international affairs and diplomacy, is said to be a trained EFCC investigator with vast experience in the investigation and prosecution of advanced fee fraud cases, official corruption, bank fraud, money laundering, and other economic crimes. Well-meaning Nigerians and civil society organizations have been reacting to the appointment of Bawa. Nigeria's foremost whistleblower and chairman George Uboh Whistleblowers Network, Dr. George Uboh, speaks on the prospect and expectations from the new anti-graft boss.
I have been reading a lot of things on social media regarding Bawa's detention by Magu and he testifying against Magu at the panel. But this is the way I look at it as an anti-corruption crusader, as a legal person, as someone who practices equity and fairness in anything I do. If Bawa was culpable, if Bawa were culpable, in the sales of vessels, and he was caught red-handed by Magu, it was incumbent upon Magu to prosecute him. That in itself I have a problem with. One of the documents I have 3 boxes of evidence against the EFCC. And I always talk about this, that when Farida Waziri came on board as EFCC chairperson, she set up a 5-man panel to probe her predecessor, Nuhu Rebadu, and they found damning evidence of the sales of seized property, the gross undervaluation of seized properties and sale to their cronies. For instance, if a property seized is recovered is worth 10 billion naira, they grossly undervalued to like 4 billion and sell to their cronies. But what I found interesting, and I indicting again against Farida, is that she, after getting this evidence, she started doing the same thing. So let's even assume, for sake of argument, that Magu did arrest Bawa for such heinous act of selling recovered assets through the back door, whatever. Then why would you keep him? I think outside the box. Is it that all of a sudden you found such act to be pardonable, or you partook in it? So I'm going to dismiss that in toto until somebody brings me evidence, documents to read, indicting Bawa. Then we in the civil society can take it up now. Evidence don't lie. If there is clear, convincing, and overwhelming evidence, documentary evidence, that Bawa was culpable when he was heading the Port Harcourt zone and Magu failed to do something, then we can take it up now. Until somebody brings up anything, I'm not going to even talk about it.
Talking about civil society,
yes.
What are their expectations?
Well, I'm going to talk about George Uboh. Because anything that has to do with EFCC, I beat my chest to say that I was the person that pierced through that veil, that thick veil. It was sacrosanct to talk about EFCC before. So you see, the name EFCC was sending shivers to down people's spines. So, and my only gripe with the EFCC is EFCC's practice of meddling with recovered assets. So, the only way Bawa will impress me is to practice full disclosure, is to remove his hands from recovered assets. And the Attorney General has paved the way now. An office has been set up at the Ministry of Justice to deal with recovered assets. I would want Bawa to set up a website, let anyone be able to go into that website, know all the assets seized, the ones going through interim forfeiture, the one going through final forfeiture, the ones recovered, the ones sold through auction as they do, identity of those sold to, because that is another area you may have corruption, selling to your cronies. So once he does that, Judge Uboh will certainly call other civil society organizations to write letters of commendation to Bawa. It's simple. If you perform, we praise you. If you don't, we hound you. That is just the practice.
Now,
thank you.
On his appointment, what does Bawa's appointment portend for the commission? Then the fight against corruption, and then the youthful population, because as we have seen from his profile, he's the youngest man ever to head the chairman since his establishment in 2003. What does his appointment portend?
The fact that I don't know much about him, the fact that I don't have any dossier about him, the fact that he did EFCC, didn't start EFCC, the wrath at the EFCC that we uncovered, 3 boxes of evidence from inception to 2013. His name is really been under the radar, nothing about him. So I'm willing, ready, and able to give him that benefit. He deserves it. Regarding the youthful nature, his youthfulness, I really don't know if he's the youngest. I don't know how old Ribadu was in 2003, but be that as it may, at 40, it is a Herculean job given to a youthful person. To that extent, I say it's a good gesture, because I'm a big proponent of that notion that youth should be given a chance. But beyond that, you still have to perform. Your performance on the job is what is going to sell you. So I am going to sit on the fence. My advice to him is, if he wishes to thrive, he must carry the civil society along. And it's simple. When we in the civil society space write him, maybe through FOI, Freedom of Information, to disclose any information, he should not stonewall. He should practice full disclosure. Most things we seek through freedom of information in Nigeria, we don't really need to. I always talk about the agreement Donald Trump and Kim Jong-un signed in Singapore. Within 10 minutes, I downloaded it in Nigeria. These are 2 hostile countries. So there isn't anything sacrosanct about EFCC's operation that we shouldn't know. You would know that most people that were arrested during Trump era, once they announced the indictment in US, in 10 minutes, I download the indictment. That is the criminal charges, even hush puppy. So even people's criminal charges, we should make it available. Let us have that robustness at the EFCC. Do not stonewall. If he's able to do this, his name will be written in gold, to be honest with you. And I will write him a letter to that extent, congratulating him and pointing out what is expected of him, that we are lacking, with his predecessors in the past. Thank you.
Thank you for coming to the program today, sir.
You're welcome. Yeah.